Hey everybody, welcome to today's vlog, and this one's going to be a little bit different. It is actually already like 7:30 p.m. and I stayed up really late last night, and so I actually didn't wake up until 4 p.m. today. And since I've been awake, Abby has been asleep because she had work last night, so I really haven't done anything today, and I figured, well, I almost didn't even do a vlog. And I really considered just not uploading today, but then I thought, you know, I think I've uploaded 77 vlogs in a row, and I don't really want to miss a day just because I'm being lazy. So I thought that I would just kind of go through everything about the game store so far, and in case you guys have missed any vlogs, or if you've missed any videos that I've uploaded up to this point, then watching this single video should bring you guys up to speed on everything. And hopefully this will just be a nice little concise video where all the information's in one place. If you want to know anything, if you have any questions, hopefully this will answer those for you. So originally my friend Kevin and I were going into opening the game store as partners, and unfortunately Kevin wasn't able to do it anymore. So it's just me now. And Abby is helping me, of course, but she has her own job and everything, so it's basically just me. And we have been planning, or I have been planning towards opening the game store for like the past 2, maybe 3 years now. And I wanted to jump into it and do it right away, but I'm very thankful that when Kevin was more involved, he was much more, I guess you could say, like, he was reserved or whatever, but he was basically like, you know, let's take our time, let's not rush into this, let's do it smart. And I'm very thankful for that, because that has resulted in me, you know, taking it slow has resulted in me being able to get all of the glass cases, all of the shelving, all the furnishings for the store. You know, I could have gone out and bought them brand new right away and had them, but it would have cost me 10 times as much. And including all the glass cases, including all the shelving, and everything like that I have for the store now, which is basically everything that I need, I've spent about $1,000 or even maybe a little bit less. And if I had gone out and bought that stuff brand new, it would have cost me 5 times that amount at least. So taking it slow and taking Kevin's advice really helped a lot. And that's, you know, that's not the only thing. Buying inventory and stuff, waiting for the right deals to come up rather than trying to buy everything. You know, and I'm not trying to overpay for stuff at all, but when someone would contact me with a PS2 bundle and it was like, you know, maybe a system with a couple controllers and memory cards and then 10 or 15 games, but, you know, all the games were filler titles, that's still something that I was trying to buy, just because I wanted the bulk inventory. And even if I get it for a decent price, you know, in the end, that's still money that I'm spending on filler titles when I could just wait around for someone to bring me that PS2 bundle with the Star Wars and the Champions of Norath, and, you know, the games that are much more desirable and they have some more value to them. So Kevin's help with that stuff has been awesome. So we went through and looked at quite a few different places before settling on the place that we have now, that we have signed the lease for. Originally we looked at a spot out in Hazel Dell, which is still in Vancouver, but that was my #1 location choice because there's no competition in Hazel Dell at all. There's not even a GameStop out there. So Hazel Dell is like a suburb of Vancouver. It's like a big part. Basically, there's downtown Vancouver, there's Hazel Dell, there's Salmon Creek, there's Orchards, and there's Fisher's Landing, and then there's other small areas that don't really have a name. But in Hazel Dell, there's a Fred Meyer, and there's a Target, and there's a Walmart where you can buy video games, but other than that, those are the only places you can buy video games in Hazel Dell, aside from maybe this one pawn shop. So that was my first choice, and the first place that we looked at was really cool. and it was within our price range, and it was, it was really awesome. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, I'm not sure, they didn't approve my application. And I honestly believe that the reason they didn't approve it is because they didn't understand what the business was, because I had to explain to the lady more than one time that we were not opening an arcade. And I think that, I made the mistake of mentioning that we have arcade games that would be put on free play. And I think she just heard that and she couldn't get out of her head, and she thought that we were opening an arcade for whatever reason. And that first place we were looking at was in the same plaza as a bowling alley, which does have an arcade, a smaller, small arcade in there. And I think that she was under the impression that we'd be competing with them, and of course they don't want to open up two types of the same business in the same complex. You don't want two Thai food places in your little complex there. So they didn't want two arcades, and them thinking that we were opening an arcade, I think that really hurt us there. And that was a big blow. I was fully expecting to be approved for that one, and when I got the email that said we weren't approved, it was pretty crushing. And I didn't really know what to do, because at that point we really hadn't looked at other places, and when I had been doing research and trying to find places online, I really wasn't seeing anything else that was going to work for us. So it was pretty scary thinking that, that was our one shot kind of thing. But, after that, I kept looking, and I started contacting leasing agents rather than just trying to find places that are listed for lease on Craigslist or on LoopNet or on Zillow or whatever. I started contacting leasing agents and saying, hey, this is my, this is the square footage I'm looking for, this is my budget, and these are the kind of locations I'm wanting. Do you have anything? And from there, I started to find more stuff that wasn't necessarily listed on Craigslist. So we went and we checked out a place that was horrible. It was really big and it was cheap. It was like 17 or 1800 square feet, and it was only like $1,600 a month, which was really, really cheap for something that size. But when we got there and checked it out, it used to be like a veterinarian place, and it was all split up into like 10 different rooms. And unfortunately the walls couldn't be torn down in there, so that place just was not gonna work. So when we left that place, the day we went and looked at it, we drove out of the parking lot, and we were 1 block away from a Safeway that had a bunch of other businesses in the same parking lot. So we drove over there just to look and see if there might be anything. And that's when we saw a place that was for rent, or for lease, by the Fuller Group. And so they had a number on the outside of the building. I called the number, and we actually got in contact with Casey, and he showed us the inside of that place, I think later that day. So we actually filmed, that was in the vlogs, and that space was off of 28th Street and Burton in Vancouver. And we were trying to go for that one. We actually met there with the contractor to go over putting in the bathroom, putting in the wall for the back office, and doing all this stuff. And unfortunately, there were some issues with the building because I guess initially they didn't put in the HVAC system because they were waiting for a restaurant to rent out that space, which never happened, so they actually never ended up putting in the HVAC. And in order to do that, it was going to cost them like $30,000 or something ridiculous. And it's actually cheaper for them to leave that space empty than to do the HVAC and then start renting it out. So they couldn't get the rent cost down to my budget, so we couldn't go with that place. But luckily, talking with Casey and telling him, we really want to move forward with the game store and everything, and he's like, well, I got another spot that just opened up. It hasn't even been listed yet anywhere. And so we went and checked out that space, and that space is now the space that we have rented. And luckily, it's within our price range. It's already set up. Basically, they're only taking out 2 walls in the back that were used as dressing rooms. So they're turning 3 dressing rooms into 1 big room, which is going to be the back office space to run my eBay and Amazon businesses. So the flooring is done, the ceiling's done, everything's done, lighting's done, which the other places we had looked at was not like that. A lot of them needed flooring, needed siding, needed electrical done, but this place is ready to go. So we have signed the lease, and about 2 weeks from right now is when we should be able to start moving stuff in physically to the game store. We can't be in there while they are taking out the walls and doing construction because it's a liability. So once they're done with that, we're going to start moving in the shelving and moving everything in. And I'm extremely excited. I've been waiting for this for so long. I've been working so hard over the past year to make this happen. I started my search, you know, I've been working towards it for much longer than that, but I actually started looking for a space and talking to leasing agents and stuff around, I want to say February or March, somewhere around there. And so it is now, I think is it July 1st yet? I think it's July 1st. So many months later, we finally have signed a lease and we're ready to go. We're just waiting on the construction to be done, then we're going to start moving stuff in. As you guys know, over the past week or two, I've been really working on the inventory point-of-sale software system, and I've been entering in all the inventory, which has been an extremely daunting task, and it's been a lot of work. I'm not done yet. I'm luckily very close to finishing up with the actual games, but then on top of that, I have systems, accessories, extra controllers, and extra cables. I have the laser discs, I have the VHS, I have DVDs, I have Blu-rays, I have CDs, I have cassette tapes, and I have vinyl, and then I have all of the toys, and then all the other random stuff, board games and puzzles, and I have like a couple autographed pictures from musicians and stuff like that. Just all this random stuff that I've gathered over the past couple years. I have to enter into the inventory system, and it's a lot of work. Luckily, there's a spreadsheet that I've been using where I can put all the information into the spreadsheet, then I import it to the system, which makes it quicker, but still I have to physically enter in all this information. A lot of stuff I can copy and paste. You know, when I entered in the PS2 games, I just wrote out all the titles, then I went back and put in the quantity for them, then I put in the price, and then I can just copy where it says Sony PlayStation 2, copy and paste that onto all of them, and stuff like that. So having the spreadsheet has made it so much easier. So we are hoping that sometime in August we're going to be able to open up, and the plan is to open up on a Saturday, so that gives, you know, hopefully the majority of the people who want to come for the opening day will not have work and they can make it. And I want the opening day to be more than just, hey guys, we're opening on this Saturday, come in and check it out. I want it to be more of an event. So I've actually talked with a couple YouTubers, and I'm hoping to get some bigger creators down to do sort of like a meet and greet type deal. And so I've talked with John Hancock, and he's starting school again in August, and he's going to a few conventions, so I'm hoping that he will have time to make it down. I know PAX is in August, so whatever weekend that is, I'm definitely not opening then because a lot of people are going to be busy going to that. So I've talked with him, I've talked with Radical Reggie, and I'm hoping that he can make it down, and I have talked with a few other people who unfortunately aren't going to be able to make it. I've talked with Kelsey and with John Riggs, but they, you know, the drive is too far and they're too busy. But I'm also hoping to get Metal Jesus to come down. I've talked with him a few times about it before. He's an extremely busy guy, and he needs a huge amount of notice before doing something like this, and I don't know that I can give him, I think even if I told him like right now, it might not even be a, you know, long enough notice for him. But as soon as I have the official date of the opening, then I'll be letting everyone know, and hopefully I can get some people down. If there's anyone local to Washington or Oregon that you want to see, and you're going to be able to make it to the opening of the store, and you want to meet them and maybe get something signed and talk with them and stuff, let them know. If you want to see John Hancock at the store opening, comment on his videos, send him a message, let him know. Just be like, hey man, you know, Double Jump Video Games is opening in Vancouver in August, and I'm gonna be there for the opening, and I wanted to meet you, and I heard that you might be going, so if you can make it, that'd be awesome. Just let them know, and don't badger people, don't hound people, don't be rude at all. You know, I've talked to some people already, and they're aware of the opening, and I hope that they can make it down. But you know, if they can't, it's, you know, I completely understand. I don't expect people to, you know, to take time out of their busy schedules to come to the opening of a game store. It's, you know, it's not a convention. It's the opening of a single game store. I don't expect people to, you know, make a huge deal out of it. You know, it's a big deal for me, and it's a big deal for my close friends and family and everything, but anyone who can make it, obviously, that's very much appreciated. So, just want to talk a little bit more about the actual game store and the plans that I have for it. So, I have lived in Washington, I've lived in California, and I've lived in Florida. And I've also toured the entire United States with a band, and I've gone to game stores all over the place. When I went on that tour with Jungle Rot, I was their merch guy. We were touring with Destruction and Warbringer, and anytime we stopped at a venue, I would search and see if there was a game store nearby, because I always had a couple hours to kill before the show started. And so I was able to go to quite a few game stores when I was on that tour. And I've been collecting and buying and selling games since 2008. And I've been to so many game stores. I've been to all the local conventions around here. I've been to, you know, swap meets and thrift stores and garage sales and pawn shops and all this different type of stuff. And being not only a collector, but also someone who's buying and selling and trading, I think that I have a pretty good idea of what people want out of a game store. And, you know, there's been plenty of game stores that I've been to that I hate and I'll never go back to for specific reasons. And there's other ones that I love. And there's other game stores that do some things right, but they do some things wrong. And because I have the perspective of both a collector and a reseller and a store owner myself, I think that I have a pretty good idea of what I need to do to make the store successful. And the biggest thing is pricing. I hate when I go to a store and everything is 20% higher than eBay. I don't, you know, I get the argument that, you know, you get to see it in person and you get it right away and you have a good return policy and all this kind of stuff, but to me that doesn't necessarily justify a 20% increase in price. So there are other game stores that I've been to that have really good prices, but they usually don't have a lot in stock because their prices are too good and they can't keep anything in. So I think I've struck a pretty healthy balance with my pricing, and I don't know if this is something I've really talked about too much before, but I want to let you guys know how I do my pricing. So without even coming into the store, you should be able to get a pretty good idea of what a game is going to cost at Double Jump Video Games. So I use price charts for most of my pricing, and I know that a lot of people don't like price charts. They either just want to use eBay completed listings, or they want to use Game Value Now or something else, and those are all fine. I like price charting. I have not experienced really any issues with it unless you come across like a super rare game that doesn't ever sell, you know, something like that. Of course it's not going to have, you know, accurate information, but for the most part it's pretty good and I like to use it. It's really simple, it's quick, it's easy. So I have set prices that I like to price my stuff at to make it easier and to give better deals to the customer. And what I mean by that is I don't price anything at $2. I don't price anything at $4. I don't price anything at $6 or $7 or $9 or $11 or $12. I have set prices that I keep stuff at, and that's $3, $5, $8, $10, $13, $15, $18, $20, and so on. It goes up like that. And whenever I'm looking up a game to price, and let's say that Price Charts says it's $14.38, I will round that down to $12.99. And I always round down unless it's something like a Mario or a Pokemon or a Zelda game. Something that, you know, most collectors already have, and the average person who comes in, that's what they're going to be looking for. There's certain games that I cannot keep in stock, and I have them priced $10, $15 higher than Price Charts. For example, Mario Kart Double Dash, or Mario Sunshine, or Smash Brothers for the N64, or Mario Kart for the N64. Those are the types of games that, you know, I sell Mario Kart 64 for $45 locally on, like, Facebook Marketplace, and I cannot keep it in stock. But if you look on Price Charts, it's like $33 or something. So just as an example, but most games, you know, anything that's not a Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, I'm rounding down. And so what that allows is for the customer to get a good deal. And I'm not necessarily undercharging by too much to the point where I'm not going to have anything left in stock, but I'm giving decent deals to the customer, and they do get that added benefit of being able to get it right away. They get to see the game in their hands and check condition, and you know, we're gonna have like a customer loyalty program, and we're gonna have an awesome return policy and all this kind of stuff. So hopefully you get the added benefit of buying it in person at a game store, but you also get the benefit of getting a decent price on it. And I'm not going to name any names, but there's plenty of game stores around the Portland, Vancouver, Seattle area, and some of them have an incredible inventory. They have every game you could think of, but they're really, really expensive. And others have good prices, but their stock never changes. They don't get anything new in, and if they do, it sells right away. And I'm hoping to strike a balance and be somewhere in the middle where I have good inventory, but I also have good prices. And, you know, stuff's not going to be incredibly super cheap, but it's not going to be overpriced. So, what next? I have ideas for little fun things to do in the store that will just give a little added fun bonus rather than just going and shopping at a store. The customer reward program is something that I just mentioned, and I have it set up with the inventory system that when you create an account, you know, you come into the store, you make your first purchase, you give me your name, your phone number, and your email, and I create an account for you. And then once you've spent $200, you get a $10 gift card for the store, which can be used on anything. And so stuff like that. I plan on eventually getting like a gumball machine where you can have like the plastic capsules or the plastic eggs, and I want to put common DS and Game Boy games in them, like Game Boy Advance and DS and 3DS games, like, you know, $3 to $5 games, and then randomly put in one Pokemon game, like Pokemon Heart Gold, and putting them in there for like $1 each. So not only are you getting a good deal on you can get a $5 game for $1, but you have a chance of getting a $45, $50 game. So I think something like that would be cool to do. It's not something that I'm going to be able to do right away because I don't have that machine. But just cool little stuff like that I think will make the store unique and special. I also have 3 pinball machines and 2 arcade machines that are going to be in the store set on free play. So that'll be cool, of course. Gives you a little more to do while you're there rather than just look at what's on the shelves. And, you know, even if someone comes in and they don't necessarily have any money, they're not really looking to buy anything, they can still have some fun and play some games. So that's just a couple things. I have some other ideas that aren't fully fleshed out yet that I have for the store that, you know, will make it just more of a fun experience. I'd like to do tournaments at some point. I talked with a guy locally who is really into Smash Brothers. I actually sold him a controller, and he travels all the way to Beaverton on the bus to participate in Smash tournaments because there aren't any in Vancouver. So that's something that I really want to take advantage of. And yeah, having stuff, you know, I'm not only going to be carrying video games, which I'm sure you guys know at this point, but it's going to be like 95% video games, but I'm also going to have vinyl, cassette tapes, VHS, DVDs, other music and media formats, you know, laser discs and 8 tracks, all that kind of stuff. But then also retro toys, which is something I've been getting into more recently. Stuff like He-Man, Star Wars, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Thundercats, anything like that I'm going to have in the store as well. And so there's just going to be a wide variety of stuff to look for. And, you know, there's a lot of people who collect video games, like they collect NES games, but they also collect vinyl, or they also collect, you know, old school horror VHS tapes. So I'm hoping that I'm going to get a lot of cross collectors in who can appreciate that kind of stuff, and I think it'll help with, you know, a boost in sales, but also a boost in clientele, because it's not only going to be gamers and collectors coming into the store. So that's pretty much all the info I can think of right now off the top of my head about the store, but I just wanted to give you guys a little more insight. Maybe I answered some questions you had, and if you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I will go through, I will reply to every comment, I will answer every question. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. I'm sorry I didn't have more of a regular vlog for you, but like I said, I haven't done anything, and I need to try and fix my sleeping schedule, so I might be trying to get to bed earlier tonight. So there's really not much to film. But I want to thank you guys so much for sticking through this video with me. If you did, don't forget to smack the like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.